What's going on, Houston, Texas? Another Friday. Hey, it's time to get back on schedule with this channel. I appreciate everyone who subbed, especially based on that last video. Got a good 25 subs just off that video, so I appreciate the love, appreciate the likes on that video. But man, we got to continue to talk about the Texans because they are hard to ignore, and I'm not talking about them playing out on the field. That shit you can ignore all day, every day. But the stuff that continued to come out of this locker room just speaks of the toxicity that exists in this team. I think the most alarming thing that just came out is Anthony Weaver having to defend his players because all they do is on Twitter is fight, is against fans who are just trying to see them improve and see a level of football that we've witnessed before, especially from those particular players. I'm talking about Charles Omenihu. I'm talking about Justin Reed. I'm really talking about this defense itself. To say a guy who's really our only trade value in J.J. Watt, who wants to win here, who doesn't want to leave, but ultimately is telling you, you know what, if things don't improve, I might got to dip out of here, is the best thing that you're seeing out on the field. To me, that is very, very sad. Roby has been very average. I mean, to be honest, what else can you do when your two safeties are playing terrible ball? One of them being a safety that shouldn't be in the safety position. And then the other one, man, you know, you thought that they would have made a bigger splash with their shoulder being completely healed and all the talk that was happening before the season. It's truly just been way below the bar. But yeah, man, and you know, these things are starting to spill out and are things that really bother the fans really. And you know, it's tough, man. We're in a tough situation. I think the way I always look at it, the way that it's been allowing me to get through it is just been looking forward to January. And right now the holidays are helping with that. Thanksgiving right around the corner. Then you know, Christmas and New Year's, and then finally in January, I'm hoping that by the end of January we should have a new GM and new head coach, where I've actually been intrigued with this Borgonzi guy who's coming with the Chiefs, because I really think that if they want to get Eric Bieniemy, they're going to have to get that guy. He's been a keystone in the Chiefs' development, player development, and that's one of the things that the Houston Texans have honestly not been great at. So, you know, one of my fears with Eric Bieniemy, I've said it before, is that with him coming, I don't have a problem with his offense. I'm not afraid of that as other fans are. My biggest issue with Eric Bieniemy is that I'm hopeful that he doesn't take as long as it took Andy Reid to realize that although maybe it's a defensive guy that you don't know, eventually you have to take a risk on some key defensive coordinator in order to get where you need to get to. The Chiefs were terrible before that Super Bowl on the defensive side, and they added Tyrann Mathieu, and they added you know, the defensive coordinator who really started to put things together and make that defense way better than I want to say the paper says that it is. Obviously their front is pretty good, but the linebackers and you know, their defensive back, they've been able to draft some guys and been able to put some guys back there to be able to make plays. And so that's what's going to continue to keep them in contention. And that's what you want to see from an organization, from your club team. So, you know, that name really intrigues me. And we'll take a deep dive into Borgonzi, into Eric Bieniemy. But for now, man, what the Houston Texans are spilling, man, it's really troubling. And I think what bothers most fans is the fact that Jack Easterby is still here. When you go on the Houston Texans website and they splash his name as a key contributor to all the moves that happened with Bill O'Brien, as if, you know, as if it was something great. I get it. We got our left tackle, but what did it take for us to get him? And then from there, I think it really was a snowball effect to try to fill hole after hole after hole, because one, we couldn't resign the players that, you know, at least were more decent than we are now, and now we're overplaying players. So one of the things that the Houston Texans must do in the upcoming months after the general manager is announced is to obviously restructure contracts. Eric Murray, I mean, you got to cut that guy. I mean, if he's willing to restructure for the bare minimum and be a depth player, all right, whatever. But man, you know, you see players shining like DeAndre Hopkins. You see players shining like Carlos Hyde. You know, obviously he didn't play up to yesterday. He hadn't played for 3 weeks because of a hammy injury. But just the type of explosive runs that he has, the attitude that he brings, are things that are missing on this Texans team when you look at them play. You don't, you know, a lot of people say you don't have that dog out there. There's nobody willing to fight. And Anthony Weaver can get as mad as he wants to, but it's the honest truth. Like, your defense gets gassed. No one's willing to fight to the last minute. And eventually, your players basically give up on each other. And they say, you know what? That's your job. You should be able to do that. And there is really no collab work being done. And so that shows on the pitch. That's the reason why a team, you know, can be held down for 3 quarters and in the 4th quarter they explode. And, you know, I think Darren said on Twitter, you know, some of it's coaching and some of it is just players, man. Like, eventually you as a player have to do what you have to do your job. And sorry to sound like Bill Belichick, but it's the truth. That's what gets teams to elite level status, because they can trust on whatever player is at that position to do their job. And man, when it comes to our front, when it comes to our linebacker crew, it's just been shaky. I know there's been injuries, man, but there's no excuse. And to me, honestly, when Romeo Crennel earlier this week said he blames the running game to a COVID season because you didn't have a preseason, please let him know that the Chiefs had a rookie running back right now running the ball without an off season, without having to play preseason games. And to me, using that as an excuse, I think it's what really shows from this coaching staff. This coaching staff knows that the writing is on the wall. They're out of here. The fan base wants them out of here. Honestly, at this point, I've heard people say, bring whoever from the street. It doesn't even matter. They'll put on a better show than what's going on right now. The players have given up on their coaches as much as they pretend that that's not what's happening. That's exactly what we see on the field. And that's what's terrible about this whole thing. Because this organization begins to, and continues, to waste talent at specific places like quarterback. Like, having an elite quarterback should win you more games, automatic, and it's not doing it. And like I said, it's very troubling. But anyways, man, that is my spiel today. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend tomorrow. I believe tomorrow we'll be having a preview to the Texans versus Patriots game, which is not looking too pretty. But anyways, man, that is my spiel. You know what it is every day, baby. It is H-Town. Let's get it.